Hey guys, how's it going? So, I wanted to talk again about the final audio M12s that I'll be receiving at the end of this month. Went over to Ravi Vilnati's place, was it on Friday? Well, last weekend I helped him move those fucking Tecton towers from his demo room upstairs downstairs into his main demo room for, all the two-channel stuff. And holy fuck, it was hilarious. Basically, Ravi is a mechanical engineer, right? And he knows his shit inside and out. There's no arguing that, right? Well, you get a East Indian mechanical engineer and an East Indian son of a mechanic, and I purposely didn't take any video because it was a shit. It wasn't a shit show, but we got through it. Well, Robbie's looking at how we're gonna do this, and I'm like, dude, we're gonna slide this motherfucker down these stairs, and we'll get it down in one piece. I said, you got any blankets, dude? He's like, yeah, I got lots of blankets. I says, good. We're gonna wrap the blankets around, tape them onto the cabinet, and then both of us will just get to the bottom, bottom side of the speakers, and let gravity do its thing. And sure as shit, we got those Tecton subwoofer towers downstairs. And then I said, see you, dude. I gotta go. It's my son's birthday. This was last Friday. So fast forward to yesterday, and Thomas had lent us a TS-34 amp to play with. So I took it over to his place last week. I never bothered setting it up. We got it. He set everything up. I came over on Friday to kind of fine tune things. And something I knew was tube amplifiers with the final audio electrostatics, bad juju, no good. Trebles rolled off, doesn't matter what fucking tubes you put in there, KT170s, KT88s, 6550s. I wasn't even going to put EL34s because that would have been a joke. Well, Thomas's amp, the bass was fine, but there's no treble, man. Mid-range was all mushy and all this shit. So then he asked me, he says, can we use Thomas's amp like a preamp? And I said, yeah, we can. There's the subwoofer outs on the back, left and right. They're basically full range parallel outputs, right? Line level outputs, sorry. And we did exactly that, right? Now you're thinking, okay, well, now you're going to run the tube amp with no load on it, and hear me out for a minute. So we connected the TS-34. We've got these KT-88 Chinese black tubes on them, right? Made sure everything was biased properly and all this, and we were like, holy shit. Just listening to the panels without the subwoofer towers, we were like, fuck, this is nice. Because he also has a Meitner multi-channel preamplifier, and I'm not a fan of it. It's a kludge fest and a half. It's got a square box with a volume knob, great for a recording studio, and it's super fucking neutral, right? No good in a two-channel setup, right? Because you want to have a little bit of color in your preamp. Not too much, but just a little bit. And I always found the setup was hard as it was because he's got no treatment. He's got super tall ceilings. You'll see in the pictures. And there's no room treatment, so it's just a echo chamber. So anyhow, we put the tube, the input stage basically, and we wired it all up, and wow, it's nice and smooth on the treble. Again, I went back to my favorite test track for bass, vocal sibilance, mid-range, and all that. Peter Gabriel, Kate Bush, Don't Give Up. And it was like, yeah, it pretty much dialed right in as far as tone was concerned. Then I saw how he had the woofer set up, and he's like, oh, you're using the LFE channel inputs. Don't do that. Fuck. So then I said, we grabbed a pair of banana cables, and we basically hooked up the back of the speaker terminals from Thomas's amp into the high-level inputs of the Tecton towers. And I was like, oh, shit, there we go. And I told him, man, it's the Paul McGowan method. You use the high-level inputs, you'll have way better results. You're basically taking the characteristics of the amplifier and then feeding it in to the plate amp. And the plate amp is just taking that sonic signature and then applying it to the, you know, the amp that's in the sub towers. So he, you know, and I said, don't analyze it, just enjoy it, right? And so, and I got the same setup in my living room. So we did all that stuff, and it sounded pretty good. And I says, now we got to work on your phantom center, dude. He says, what do you mean? I says, dude, I'm looking at the coda emblem, and I'm sitting in the chair in between the two speakers. The vocals should appear like they're coming out of the coda emblem on the amp. I said, that's the other Paul McGowan Jedi mind trick, is put an object directly in between the two speakers, and the vocals should be coming out of that object, you know. And so, yeah, I said, that's going to be probably next weekend's project over there. We got to relocate the sub towers because they're in an unideal location. I mean, you know, for a magazine photo shoot, it looks fine, but for reality, it's like, no. And same thing with the M35 flagships. Those have to be spread out a little bit, towed in a bit more. And, you know, we'll pretty much get it dialed in without any room treatment, you know. Because him and I are two opposites when it comes to that. I believe in room treatment, especially living in Arizona where it's all concrete, ceramic tiles, drywall, you know. You guys know this living room of ours was an echo chamber when we moved in. With all the DIY treatment that I did, it's, you know, not totally dead, and I don't want it totally dead, right? That's stupid, you know, but it's just got the right amount of reflection, diffusion, absorption to make me happy. And yeah, so what's going to happen is the Maggie MMGs, they're going to get relocated as surround channels. The final M12s will be my left and right. And then for the center channel, I committed heresy. Took out the tweeter horn, took out the mid-range horn, made a block-off plate, bolted it on, siliconed it in, glued it down. Did the same thing on the port on the back, so it's a totally sealed cabinet now. And prior to doing that, I kind of fried the woofer, the Heresy 4. It's a long story. So I had the woofers from the open baffle debacle that I did, 3 years ago? 4 years ago now, whatever. And so I grabbed one of those woofers. Because I wanted to measure the cabinet, first of all, to make sure there was no leaks, number one. Number two, to see how low it could really go. Now, I'm not looking for subwoofer bass coming out of the center channel speaker, but Ravi is also selling me an M1 panel, which is a small electrostatic panel that he uses at shows for his, and it only goes down to 200 hertz, which is fine, right? So long as the top end is there, that's all I care. But I need the transition from that panel to the woofer to be as seamless as possible. And Final always recommends using a sealed box, which is what they do in their hybrids. So I kind of took the same kind of thing and applied it to the Heresy 4. Took some initial measurements. I built a fourth order Linkwitz Riley using the inductors and capacitors that I had in the Heresy crossover, along with some, I think there were 100 microfarads and 60 microfarad caps that I had from, remember my 105 threes that I did a few years back that Kurt gave me? Well, Kurt also gave me the caps to go with it to rebuild the crossovers. So I used those in parallel with the big 47 microfarad ones that I bought from Mundorf on eBay. So, and it worked. I did the measurements on the bench. I just used my signal generator. I used my oscilloscope and did the 1/T measurement, and yep, I got 200 hertz. Took the sweeps. Then I used my iPhone with my tie clip mic, and I measured the box after I did the initial measurements on the crossover. Then I took the real measurements about a meter away. I don't think I did the 1 watt, 2.83 volts correctly, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to see if what I measured on the bench with the crossover only jives with what I get acoustically in the room. And I was shocked. It was with the fourth order filter by itself, passively ran using the Orchard Audio Ultra or Argent Pure with the silver wire, whatever. yeah, I got the 200 hertz roll off above 200 hertz. It's not as steep and sharp as I'd liked it to have been, but it was pretty good, pretty good. Then with the mini DSP, I put a fourth order Linkwitz Riley low pass at 200 hertz. Put that in series with the passive crossover, and boom, my amplitude didn't change, but my roll off rate dropped like Niagara Falls, which is technically what I want, you know, because I want the transition to be seamless, right? I don't want too much overlap, you know, if any. So took the measurements, and I was really shocked. Now, when I do set up that final audio panel with the Klipsch Heresy woofer cabinet, I'm going to run the Macintosh MC50 on the panel and then the Orchard Audio amp on the woofer. Now, a few weeks ago, I took my Macintosh MC50s over to Ravi's and I connected them to the bigger brother M15s of the speakers that I'm getting. I'm getting the 12s. I was shocked. The little 70-watt amp drove those big panels pretty nicely, you know. I mean, that MC50 always had a tube-like characteristic to begin with, which was what I love about it. And with all the mods that I did, it just took it to another level. But putting it on those electrostatics, I was impressed, you know. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it for this video. I'm going to drop a couple more tomorrow, probably. It was a little lazy. I was going to do some stuff this morning, but one thing led to another. Oh, hey, I checked out the Led Zeppelin, Becoming Led Zeppelin documentary. It's really fucking good. It's too bad the theater I went to, the sound was shit, but that's another story. All right. Thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe. Get me to that 2,000 mark so we can all get shit-faced. I'm so close. Take care, guys. Bye for now.